Turn up the volume, okay? Turn it up. So, Survivor Caramoan finale. Okay, I gotta admit, out of every finale that we've had since HVV, this one is without question the worst. I really did not feel anything throughout the course of this whole finale. I mean, like, all the previous seasons, there were contestants I wanted to win, contestants I didn't, predictions that I had. Here, I had absolutely no predictions other than I didn't want Eddie to win and that Eric or Eddie would get medically evac'd, and I was right, and partially at least, and that Eric got medically evac'd, so just, God. I've got a whole list more of complaints that are coming your way later. I'm sure you can guess some of them, however. So let's just jump into this, shall we? So, Eric getting pulled out of the game, that really sucked. I mean, like 3 days left, and he didn't do any better than the previous time. That really sucks. But what really sucks is that it didn't seem like he was any real danger for crying out loud. Just it seemed like he's just having a dizzy attack and all that, or the starvation thing, as they say it. Like Rob Sesternino, everyone at AfterBuzz, like everyone out there seems to think that, had they just left him there, for a couple of hours, he could have waltzed right back to camp just like he did into Ponderosa and all that. I mean, like, yeah, I know that they had already given him an IV, which, kind of goes out of the bounds of not giving them, any medical treatment, but you gotta remember in Fiji, Gary got a couple of allergenics the first time the medics pulled out, but then a couple days later he says, you know what, I'm done with this. So I don't know, it just seems stupid that they pulled him out. That's annoying. Cochran winning that advantage, no real comment, honestly. That last rites, usually I look forward to that. Here, like with the loved ones this season, it made me feel depressed. Just what's the deal? That final immunity challenge, I was surprised that the advantage was all the bags were untied. I thought it would be something like, he already has one bag back or something like that. And then he almost lost the entire lead, but he managed to start assembling the puzzle. But then again, who knows? They could have, just edited it so that the others were able to get a bit ahead of him, but yeah. Whew. But by that point, the episode had gone on long enough that I was sort of supporting Cochran again, even though he kind of bumped himself down a few pegs in the previous episode. So I was glad that he won that immunity. Going back to camp, you could tell that Sherry's safe no matter what, so Cochran's got to choose between Don and Eddie as to who to bring with him, and then he ends up voting out Eddie, which I was glad that he did because, well, as I stated in my last couple of videos, I did not want to see Eddie win this. Ugh. And, like, I hate the fact that he got so much farther than Philip, Malcolm, Reynold, Andrea, and Brenda, and Eric for that matter. He did not deserve to get that many days farther than all those people. Just so did not deserve it. Would he have won against Cochran? Well, he would have had Reynold, Malcolm, possibly Andrea, but I don't know. Just whatever. And it was a smart move because, like I said, gathered there, he would have gotten a couple of votes, and also, based on what she did in the last episode, he's right in thinking that Don doesn't really have that much of a chance and all that, and he does bring forth that Don was getting pretty annoying in the last couple of episodes. I totally feel that way because last episode, Dawn just really got on my nerves, and I finally stopped liking her because I can definitively say that after last episode was over, I took her off top picks to win. Had she won, I would have just said, well, it's good that you have that money so you can help your family, but the title, you don't deserve it. So once they got to Tribal Council, you could kind of tell it was Cochran's to lose, honestly. But I was kind of surprised at, what he had to say at that tribal and all that, and the questions that were asked of him. Because, like Malcolm's question, that's a pretty interesting question. Very few people would be able to give an answer, let alone an answer that you think is good. Now, Cochran actually gave a pretty dang good answer, and he himself admits, like you could think this is as a joke, but I really do mean this, and Malcolm took it that way, and he himself later went up to the thing and goes, you know what? I wasn't expecting to be running this name tonight. He took it in. And then, like, Shelley, you could tell she wasn't going to win by that speech, and then Margaret was just like, and when it was just like, and then a couple of the other people were just like, yeah, come on, Shelley, that was just pathetic. And then Dawn, well, Philip said it best. Oh, wait, what is up with this? I just want to go home. Why is everybody? And then just. Even more reason for me to like Philip this time. More on that later. Yeah. So, Cochran thankfully wins 8-0, and for those of you who didn't notice, he's the only person this season to never get his name written down. Great job, Cochran, because you were one of my top picks to win basically since the merge started. I didn't bother with top picks before that point, but even before the merge, I began to definitively say that, you know what, I'm noticing the change in Cochran. And going into this season, I wanted to make up my mind on whether or not I like him, and I can definitively say now, I like him. Albeit, the last couple of episodes dampened my thoughts on him a little bit, but the last couple of episodes just sucked in general. More on that later. And then, fan favorite, I guessed it was going to be Malcolm, because I'd been predicting since the merge it was going to be Malcolm or Cochran, but after that Brenda fiasco, I was surprised at how much votes she got. But, I don't know, had she won, I mean, like, I would have been happy for her, especially since she's pregnant, but I don't know, I guess I just wouldn't have felt natural. Malcolm, I'm glad that he got it, although I think he should have had Philippines fan favorite. Not that that would have redeemed the season, because I'm going to be quite honest with you guys. I officially have finally figured out where I rank Philippines, because I was finally able to realize over the course of this season why I like all the other seasons and why I don't like Philippines. So I was able to draw Philippines from anywhere from 1, 2, or 3 to a battle for 5th with Nicaragua, and then I realized that if I had a choice between buying the DVDs of Philippines or Nicaragua, I'd buy Nicaragua. I'm dead serious. So, for me only, Philippines is the worst season since HVV. Although critique-wise, it is awesome, and I'm glad that it got so many people interested in the show again. I'll respect it for that, and I can give good props to Philippines, but I can give good props to every season I've seen except Thailand. I'm dead serious. Okay, so now let's move on to that reunion show, and okay, that is officially the worst Survivor reunion I have ever seen, and I thought what they did for, Borneo, how simple it was bad. You compare it to this, it's actually pretty well done, just, I mean, like, only having, what was it, 8 people on that stage? Maybe 9? Now, Brenda not being there, that's fine, but everyone pre-Joey just like, what the heck? And Jeff's giving us this beep excuse. Well, he's just like, well, the stage was too small. Just cut the crap, Jeff, okay? You guys are in charge of that stage. You have tons of time to plan it out. For crying out loud, okay? You could have done it. You just chose not to. That's just so stupid. And then, even then, half the jury that you didn't really ask that many questions about. And then showing Boston Rob and Rudy now, I liked what you did with them and all that, but it was completely unnecessary. You're detracting attention away from the contestants and all that, and you're just giving Boston Rob an excuse to show off his book. I'm a Rob fan, okay? And I'm saying that I don't like it, okay? Now, I have no problems with him being on the Survivor Live after show doing the exact same thing, okay? Because that was good, but here it just sucks. Although I bet I'm going to be buying that book because I looked at the Amazon Inside Look, and it's interesting enough for me to give it a buy, I think. Once money permits. Okay, so yeah, that was totally stupid. And then Jeff not even giving us any hints about next season, even though everyone's saying that it's going to be returning castaways versus families. Just come on, Jeff. Okay, now onto the list of other complaints that I have. Sorry if I miss anything that I promised you guys earlier in the vid. So other complaints I have, well, most of them are actually directed towards Jeff, because, you know, he's saying that he's really liking the format of this reunion. No, Jeff, you are not saying that honestly, okay? You were saying that as a producer, not a host, alright? All this season, while you were answering Dr. Ross's questions, you avoided actually answering his questions, okay? I mean, like, you can argue that he did give satisfactory answers, but I could tell that he never answered the exact question. When I'm answered a question, I do my best to answer the exact question. It's just so stupid, Jeff. Because, like, to me, there's a big difference between answering the question as a host and answering the question as a producer, which you are also, Jeff. When you're a host, you give your honest thoughts. When you're a producer, you only give what you're allowed to say. That's just crap. God. And also, you still didn't give an explanation for why you had 2 hidden immunity idols in the episode where Philip went home. What was the deal with that? Okay? Just, you need to give an explanation. So, if you don't do this in future seasons, I am forever going to complain about you guys deliberately affecting an outcome for no particular reason in this season. Now, I have no complaints with what you guys did in Fiji with re-hiding the idol, because that was before you had fully figured out the idols out and all of that. Just, oh my god, Jeff. Yeah. Because, like, Jeff, you are half the reason the show is doing as good as it is. People are checking it out because you're still there, but now, I don't know, with the way you are smug about the reunion, what's going on next season, damn it, there's a couple of other things I wanted to say, damn it. Let me think. Even though I did mention this several videos back, how you're always bringing back returning people, but I'm not completely against that. How the fans that you recruited actually aren't complete fans of the show, because the AfterBuzz crew revealed that at least Eddie, Reynolds, and Shamal hadn't seen a single episode of the show before you recruited them on. Now, I had that same problem with Earl and all that, because he really only seemed to hear about the show like a few days before he was recruited and all that, and he won, but I don't know, Earl got a big appreciation for the game, so did Reynolds, I think, but I don't know. Jeff. So is there anything else I want to mention? Okay, so I think I've only got a few topics left to mention. 1, the theories for next season. I'll do that in another video. 2, my final thoughts on why Cochran deserved it, like, overdone. And then 3, just a couple of other nitpicks that I've got with this season. So let's tackle that first. So my overall opinion of the season is that I liked it, but towards the end, it just did not... It just wasn't as good. The last 2 episodes and this episode really hurt the season big time. Now, it's not as bad as Philippines. Well, I feel like the exact same thing happened, because this season had a positive tone, I think, all the way up until the episode where Brenda left. And sure, a couple of people did damage themselves. Returnees, I mean, but it wasn't nearly as bad as Philippines and all that. Cochran winning over Dawn, well, as I stated, John just, was crying and all of that, and then just... She really ruined her chances. She did exactly what I was hoping that she wouldn't do. Just, she threw all of her chances away. It was just pathetic. I expected to really like Dawn, and just... Man, what a downturn, Don. I mean, like, had you won, I would have been happy for your family, and I kind of am happy for you that you got about 90 grand, but I am disappointed. And you stated that, you didn't want to, like, Cochrane won the game for you in that. And yes, I know you were working with Cochrane the entire game and all that, but it felt like Cochrane was doing more. So, you did exactly everything you said you weren't going to do, so yeah, you didn't deserve it, Don. Now, I don't completely hate you, but I don't really like you anymore. And I hate to say that. I do. Okay, so now one last thing to do. Which favorites do I feel like improved? This is my list only, and you're going to disagree with me, a bunch of you. Philip, shut up. Andrea, Cochrane. Who did fine in the transition? Eric, that's arguable. Fran, again arguable. Brenda, arguable. Malcolm, I'm kind of iffy on him. And Corinne. Who got worse? Brandon, Malcolm to a degree, and Don. So yeah, it's a bit of a long video, but I had a lot that I wanted to discuss in here. And I think that this is the third best season since HVV. This would have been the second had those last 3 episodes not totally hurt this season in a big way, just, yeah, because South Pacific, which is the season that I rank second best, it didn't make me feel as emotional and all that, but it didn't have its last few episodes really downgrade the season. Heck, I have exactly one problem with South Pacific. My second choice won. That's it. It should be obvious to you who I wanted to see win. Coach. Whew. I thought there was something else that the AfterBuzz people were talking about. Oh yeah, they were just kind of arguing little bits of like how the season was sort of custom made for a favorite to win. Well, I think we could have all predicted that. If it was Cochrane, well, possibly, I don't know about that, but now I remember what I wanted to say. Yeah, Survivor, you're getting close to a sinking ship here, okay? I like the show, and I know you've renewed it for 27 and 28, but take my advice, okay? Renew it for 29 and 30. Then pull the plug, okay? I think it's time we start doing that. Alright, this already feels too long, but this is what I'm uploading. I hope you enjoyed it, even though I was kind of negative. Which really sucks because this was a good season, but just one heck of a bad finale, man.